Now it's time to move on to model evaluation. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the composite scale indicators and use them to analyze the structural model.
Really?
And how we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and calculate the factor loadings. Those are the items on how they load up onto each construct. And we're also going to look at the error variance. If you remember, we did construct reliability in one of the previous chapters, but this is how we're going to go ahead and create our scale indicators. I'm going to show you where to go back and recalculate your construct reliability if you need to. Okay, but that's that big CR, right? Construct reliability. Here's the original formula for that. To find a factor loading, you find the construct reliability number, the CR number, and you simply take the square root of it. Okay? Error variance is practically as easy. You take the CR and you subtract it from 1. So that's going to give you the error variance for each one of the composite scale indicators. So let's go ahead and do the factor loading real quick. If you recall from, I believe it was step 3. Yeah, it was step 3. We went ahead and calculated the AVE scores and the CR scores. Remember, the AVE stands for average variance extracted, and the CR is construct reliability. But these are the numbers we're going to use. So I'm going to put them in our little thing there. I'm going to take the square root of each one of them. Bam. Okay, so there's our factor loadings for our 3 constructs, CAP. Moving on to error variance. Again, here's our CR scores. We're simply going to subtract each of these from 1 and get those. So now we have our error variance scores and our factor loadings. So these are the values that we're going to go ahead and, I guess we could say, hand load into our structural model. So back to Amos, we're going to show you how to change this multiple reflective model over to a composite scale indicator model. So we only need one item for each construct. So let me pull over this and get our deleting X going there. And so I'm basically going to delete everything, all the items, except for one. And we're gonna change the values of each one here. So I'm just going to keep the first one of all our constructs. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing over there. Sorry, but you can see this. Get. Okay, so we look like we're good to go here. Let me put them all in the middle. So now what we're going to do is substitute these values. Let me click my hand here. We're going to substitute these values with these values. Okay, so the arrows that load onto the items are going to be these values. Let me pull this guy up again. The actual error terms are going to be the error variance values that we calculated here. Okay, so let me show you how you do that. We're going to replace the factor loadings first. So this arrow is the factor loading. So that's for C. And as you recall, this number should have been 0.915. And the one for the A, you just click on that one, and that should have been 0.898. Isn't this easy? And then the last one is this guy, and that should have been 0.932. So that takes care of those guys. Now we're going to go ahead and replace the error variances. So I'm going to start with this one. There's the C. Let me put this where you can see it. Sorry, you guys. Click on that. Actually, I'm going to right-click on that. Object Properties. Wait, let's make sure you got the right one. Right-click. Click until it's highlighted. Oh, hold on. All right, fixed it. Okay, so you're gonna right-click Object Properties. And so the error variance for the C was 0.162. And the error variance for the A was right-click. Oh, never mind. Right-click, Object Properties. Sorry, you guys. It's been a long day. So for A, error variance, 0.193. And for the last one, which is way over here, let me scoot him over so you guys can see him. This guy was 0.131. So we have substituted all the factor loadings and the error variances. The last thing we have to do is figure out the average for each set of the items that load up onto the construct. Okay, so we're gonna add up all the construct. We're gonna take all the items that load up onto a construct. We're gonna add them all up and divide by 4. So let me show you how that's going to work real quick. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and take the average of each of the items. So we're going to add up these 4 items, divide by 4. That's going to be the average for the competency. We're going to add these 4 up, divide by 4. That's going to give us the average for attitude. Same thing for preparedness. We're going to add these up, divide by 4. Let me show you how to do that in SPSS. So you're going to go to transform, compute a new variable. And the first one we're going to just call, I'm going to do C average. You name it up here. And let me just show you how to do this real quick. So you hit the parentheses because you're going to be adding multiple terms. You're going to do C1, enter, plus C2, enter, plus, pull it up a little bit. Whoop. C3, enter, plus, last one, C4, enter, move your cursor over there. You're going to hit divide, and we're going to do by 4. We're going to click OK, and hold on. Okay, so there should be a new variable called averages, and we just did all 3 of them at the same time because we're showing off here. So let me show you what that looks like on your data set. But this is what we did. We found an average for the A, P, and C. So again, we only did it for the C, but just repeat it for A, P, and C. So now we have the means to these. We have to substitute these values back into, hold on, not this one, back into these values. So we're gonna change the data from C1, P1, and A1 into the averages that we just figured out. So anytime you make a change to a data sheet, it's a good idea to save the data, okay? I'll say that again. Anytime you make a change to a data sheet, save it. Okay, so this is saving the new data. Let's go back here. We have to... So here's a quick little sidebar tip. If you look at the data that was used, the new data should not be in there because this is an old save, and they're not. You notice that the average variables that we just made are not in here. So what we have to do is pull this box over and go, and now we have to reselect it. Don't even look at this, but you're going to go to File Name, and you're going to let the computer repick it, and I think it should be right on top here. This is us. Right, click Open, and then OK. So now let's check to see if our averages are in this data set here. Get back in there. Here you. And yes, they are. Yay. So we're going to transfer these over to here. It's as simple as A, P, C. So I'm going to start with C and just click it right in there. P goes over to the P section, which you can see, sorry. And then A is right on the A section. Okay. And then I'm going to clean these up a little bit. Right-click properties. I think I can just put parameters. A average. What the heck. I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, so we know that these are the averages now. So now we have the structural model with the composite scale indicators in place. Okay, so we changed the factor loadings, we changed the errors, and we substituted the remaining item with the average of that item. So we are good to go. Time to calculate. 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 Beep, beep, beep. And now we're going to look at the outputs. Hope you guys can see these things over here. Okay, here we go. All right, since we're changing our multiple reflective indicator model to a different model with composite scale indicators, we're hoping that this will make our model a better fit. So first thing I'm going to look at is the model fit. indicators. I'm going to look at the C-min. Hey, that's good. So, right, it's not significant. This is the same as our chi-squared. So what this is saying is that our model is not significantly different than the saturated model or the perfect model, which means we just we made our model a better fitting model. But now let's look at the rest of the fit indices. We got our GFI, that's over 0.9. That's really good, okay. And we look at the NFI indicator, that's greater than 0.9. RFI is bigger than 0.9, so everything is looking really good so far. And I think we need to look at the RMSEA, and this is pretty darn good. This is less than 5%. All right, let me go back up. I made a mistake. We don't really look at the RFI because we're using the maximum likelihood. We should be looking for the CFI, and hold on, I can't find it. Hold on. Yes, I do. Okay, I'm just going to move this over a little bit so we can see the CFI. There's the CFI. So that's greater than 0.9. So all the indicators are now good. So our model fit has become a lot better fit. Okay, so next thing we're going to go to estimates to make sure our paths are significant. And let me pull this out a little bit. All right. And here we go. So, wow, yeah, so attitude to preparedness, very significant. Preparedness to competency, very significant. Next step was we're going to check these standardized residuals. We want to make sure there's no problem there. And they're way down here on the bottom. Hold on. Okay, standardized residual coefficients. So remember, the cutoff for these is anything greater than a +2 or less than a -2, and we're nowhere near that. So our standardized residuals are well within an acceptable range. Now we're going to look at the modification indices. The software basically is going to suggest any kind of changes to our model to make it a better fit model, and you'll notice there's nothing there, which is a really good thing because we think we just proved that our cause and effect model is actually accurate, which basically means that apparently attitude does affect preparedness, and preparedness does affect competency in statistics. But you'll notice attitude does not affect competency directly. So it has like an indirect effect. So we have to check the mediating effect of preparedness, okay? But that's it for now. Goodbye. Say goodbye.
Bye.